Okay, now let's punch it. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a 2022 Chevy Silverado 1500 Custom with the new body style and the newly redesigned version of the 2.7 liter turbocharged engine. And we're going to see if this engine is now, worth it. Anyways, a huge shout out and thank you to the Laird Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with this truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. This one is available for sale right now if you're interested. And then on a side note, if you want to save time, money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the review. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.7 liter 4-cylinder that goes to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 17 around town and then 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of this Silverado. So first off, you can see we've got the signature Silverado hood where the center is raised up, and then you can see the side here, and then it kind of comes down there on either side. And then we've got the halogen lights here on the front end, and notice how it's kind of like connected here. And then you can see we've got the carbon fiber print inside of the headlight. Notice the accenting here off to the side, and then the whole front grille has been blacked out, including the Chevy bow tie. And notice the Chevrolet logo there, front and center. Tow hooks on the front end, and then there is an air dam at the very bottom, and well, there you go. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you can see here with the design on the wheel itself, notice, pretty basic. Again, this is an entry-level truck, but I think it looks good. Now, here's the front suspension. We have our Silverado badge here on the side. Notice that the mirrors are blacked out, including the door handles as well. And then if we take a few steps back, here's your side profile on the Silverado. And then popping out of the rear, notice we got our 4x4 sticker. Leaf springs here in the rear, and there you go. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock, lock, remote start, and then the drop down for the tailgate. Now we have a payload capacity of 1,909 pounds and then a towing capacity of 9,000 pounds with this 4-banger. Now notice that the tailgate is protected. This one doesn't have bed liner, but you can add that as an option if you want. And then it's got lights here on the bed and an outlet. Wow, this is pretty cool. And then you can see the cargo light there at the very top. And yeah, that's great. Now let's see if it raises up. Nope, so just the lower down function, and it's light. Now finishing things up here with the rear, you can see here with the Silverado taillights, we got Chevrolet stamped here on the bed, Silverado logo, custom badge on the other side. Notice it's got the bumper steps, and you guys can see the bumper's actually body painted, which looks nice. And that's the back. Now here's the door panel on the rear, pretty basic from a material standpoint. Again, remember, this is kind of like the entry-level package. Same thing with the seats. We've got these cloth seats. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy going on with the seats. Storage space underneath. And then we've got the rubber floor mat. And then you guys can see the vents right here. And, well, let's pop in quickly. So, got the grab handle, legroom, headroom. Let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You can see here, again, pretty basic from a material standpoint. We've got all of our window controls here, and then we've got the mirror adjustments. Here's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. And then here's the front seat. So you can see again, cloth, and then the design here in the center portion, and then down below, we've got our adjustments here on the side. Pedal layout down below. We've got our parking brake right here. Light control, we've got our cargo light, and then our drive line select. This has auto 2-wheel high and then 4-wheel high. And then this is like our hill climb assist, and then our trailer tow mode select. And let's pop in. So here is our steering wheel. Again, pretty basic from a material standpoint, and not a lot of controls happening on the steering wheel. We do have cruise control, however, that is very important. We have our turn signal, windshield wiper stalk, column shifter as well with the manual shift function. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now here's the center gauge cluster. You guys can see we've got a bunch of analog gauges, then you got that screen there in the center. Pretty basic. It'll show you if you're in the trailer tow mode, and then you're, whether you're 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, all that. And yeah, that's all she wrote. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. We have a very nice backup camera, resolution solid, and we've got the trailer line mode. I like the sound it makes. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, you can see response time with the screen is fantastic. Sorry about the glare. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and analog controls down below. Pretty simple. Here's the analog controls for the climate system, single zone climate system. Notice we've got this big blank switch, and then we've got all of our outlets here in this area. We've got our stability control, hazard light, tailgate drop down, auto stop start, and then the lane keep assist. And that's all for that area. This one has the bench seat, so you can see that whole setup. And if we click here, it actually has underseat storage too. That's nice. Dual glove box. And then you can see, again, pretty basic from a material standpoint on the dash. And then popping her up to the top, you can see lighter colored headliner. This does have a manual mirror dimmer. And then the rear glass is fixed. Now here is the window sticker for this 2022 Silverado. Here's the standard equipment. It comes with this, pretty much entry-level package. So you can see the base MSRP $45,200 before any options are added. This one has the Dark Essentials package, and that's what gives it the cool sporty appearance. And then this has the 342 axle ratio as well. Anyways, after all options, $46,240 for the total MSRP. And let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off here in the Silverado with the 2.7 turbo. Now, I just very recently drove the previous version of this powertrain that has like 348 pound-feet of torque. So I will in fact be able to tell you guys if this is worth upgrading to if you currently have the previous version of the 2.7. Now, first off, let's actually also talk about this this base package from an interior perspective and all that. Again, there's not a whole lot happening here, but this is not bad. This is actually, I expected, for an entry-level package, I expected for this to have less than it does. So I think that's cool. I mean, think about this. Like, we live in a world where I'm calling this a base model truck, and it has air conditioning, power windows, and it's got lane keep assist, and a cruise control, backup camera, like all the stuff this has, and it's a base model. It's crazy, like how times change. But yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty nice. And power seats too. Like, this is a base model and it's got power seats. That's pretty crazy to think about. And then ride quality is super smooth. That's something that Silverado's always been good at, is just having a nice smooth ride quality. Still has leaf springs though, so when you go over a big enough bump, yeah, you do get the wheel hop. You do feel it a little bit. So there is that happening. And exterior wise, I do want to talk about that too. It looks so cool with this darker aesthetic package. This 2.7 turbo is torquey, I can tell you that right now. Like, it moves. It moves. It's so weird to hear the noises this makes in a full-size pickup truck. But I gotta hand it to Chevy for, just going after it. And it coasts really well too, but see how it goes over these little covers. Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, dampening's really solid with the new Silverado. And since this has such a light front end, it actually goes over bumps a little bit, like it's a little bit nicer with how it goes over bumps. And that's also why this has the higher payload capacity too, because of that lighter front end. So it helps out with a lot of stuff actually. See how it does over the famous train tracks here. Plop, plop. Yeah, pretty good with the dampening. Okay, now let's punch it. Ooh, turbo! It's actually pretty quick. It's actually pretty quick. Can you feel a difference? Well, kind of. So the horsepower is unchanged, but the torque figure has significantly increased. It does feel punchier off the line, so I noticed more of a difference when I was just driving around town with this versus the previous version of this engine than when I went full throttle. Going full throttle, there's not really a big difference, to be honest. So it's mostly off the line, which for those of you that are gonna use this for truck stuff, that's great, because when you're towing with this and all that, it's gonna be better than the previous version. But I guess that we should sum things up and get into whether or not Chevy should even be putting this engine in the truck. So first off, let's talk about kind of the thing. So fuel economy is not that much better than the V8 versions of this truck. So like, that's kind of something I've been thinking about, as I'm like, okay, going for the 4-cylinder, are you gonna get better fuel economy? And it's like, not really. It's like the same, right? And it's turbocharged, and it's a small engine in a big vehicle, so that's why fuel economy is not really that much better than the V8s, because this is going to be, you know, under a little bit more stress than a V8. Now, from an acceleration perspective, this feels just as good as the 5.3, and this has more torque than the 5.3 now. So yeah, it's still got less horsepower, but yeah, off the line, this feels punchier than the 5.3. So this is actually a great alternative to the 5.3. And the benefit that I see with this package really is just the weight, right? This has similar towing capacity to the 5.3, actually a little bit more, and it has more payload capacity too. And so that's the big benefit of the 2.7 is, yeah, your fuel economy is going to be similar, but you're going to be able to tow slightly more, and you're going to have a slightly better payload. I think the payload is really the attractive thing to me, because the towing capacity is so similar. It's the fact that you'd be able to load up the bed more. So if you're just carrying stuff around in the truck all the time, then having the higher payload capacity, I mean, that makes sense in my personal opinion. And I guess, you know, what I get this over the 5.3, that's a tough one. I still lean towards the 5.3, because now in the Silverado for the 22 model year, you cannot get a 5.3 with the 8-speed. It only comes with a 10-speed, and I like the 10-speed more than this 8-speed. The 8-speed's great. The 10-speed's just a little bit smoother. And so since the 5.3 is paired to the 10-speed and this is not, I'm still gonna give it to the 5.3, but I still see a lot of practical application with this 2.7 4-cylinder. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2022 Chevy Silverado 1500 with the 2.7 liter turbo. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Laird Schmiller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with the truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.